And let me tell you something before he comes up here. Do you guys know who the #1 supporter of Obama was that came out and spoke on Obama's half in Buncombe County? Do you know who that is?
Van Duncan.
Van Duncan. That's exactly right. Van Duncan went around to every Democrat party he could possibly do. He spoke in total support of this socialist. And I am so proud that we have a true American right here, Mr. Dickie Green, running for sheriff here on the Republican City.
I like what he stands for. We're at a crossroads, men and women. We're at a crossroads. But first, let me introduce my wife over here. So, Sandy. Send up, Sandy. We're at a crossroads, and it's like Mr. Carroll said, it starts right here in Buncombe County. And politics. Of course, I'm a law enforcement officer. That's all I know. That's what I grew up in. And I grew up loving the Lord. And I was asked just recently on my campaign in the district meeting, they asked me would I need to leave God out of it. Then I said, then I don't need to run, first of all. And we're at a crossroads in this country. And things need to be done, and they need to be done immediately, today. There's 301,000 people in Buncombe County. I think there's 73,000 Democrats. There's 48,000 independents, and the rest, 47, I think it's 271 are Republicans. And the majority of the Republicans do not vote. That's a shame. We were talking about earlier how we can sit back and examine and criticize. It doesn't do a bit of good unless you vote. Now, in law enforcement, unfortunately, it affects more than just law enforcement. There's a budget within the Sheriff Department of Buncombe County. It's like this spending is going completely out of hand in Buncombe County. It's my understanding, and I'm going to have a meeting with the county manager to find out for sure. I've been invited to sit down and talk with her. But the incumbent sheriff right now is $9 million in 3 years over budget. If that's not alarming, if that's not a trend that starts right here in Buncombe County and goes all the way to Capitol Hill, that's exactly what's happening in our nation today. Whose money is it? It's our money. And it should be spent wisely. It should be spent wisely. Number two, every one of these candidates, we need to ask them, with human interaction, we need to ask them honest questions. Honest questions. The questions we need to ask them, first of all, is about the economy and the effort they spend our money. Also, how it affects our children. In Buncombe County, I worked with a ministry called Crossfire, as Reverend is aware of. Our youth are going in the wrong directions. They're going in the wrong direction. And who end up having to answer those calls is law enforcement. Again, we need to sit down and mentor these kids, give them right direction, and the seniors especially, they need to get involved in a mentoring program. One other thing, Mr. Sutton, right over here, he asked me at a precinct meeting the other day, he said, who does the Buncombe County courthouse belong to? Who does it belong to?
The people.
The people. The people. It's the people. Who does the Buncombe County Sheriff Department belong to? The people. It's not just about the Democrats. And right now it's about the Democrats. It's about all of us. We serve everybody. I've been asked questions, even about the sanctuary. Most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I wouldn't answer it one time before because the simple truth is, if there are illegal aliens in our city, they're in danger to our community.
That's right.
Because there's one thing you have to understand. There's over 10 million plus aliens that come across our borders from Canada, the coast, and of course from Mexico, and things like that. 80% of them are felons that are illegals. 80% of them are felons. So they come here for two reasons. It's not just for jobs, it's for drugs. They can make more money here because they got They're running from the borders. They're running from different countries to come here as a sanctuary. One thing, if you don't do anything else, speak up about this sanctuary deal. It's ridiculous. It's absolute. And as a law enforcement officer, to think that we're not going to enforce the law, that's ridiculous. You know, we're going to enforce the law. But again, how we enforce it, I was asked, it was Bridget that asked me a question about some of these officers, how they enforce it. We have to respect everybody. We have to consider everybody. And by considering and respecting, we can sometimes get them back on the right path. That's what we need to do. Rick was talking about, he's my PR man, by the way, right here in Buncombe County, and we need in this nation, we need a heart checkup. We really need a physical from the inside out. That's what I'm standing for. I'm going to keep God in the sheriff department. And it's your sheriff department. You can come in and ask questions anytime you want to. It'll be total 100% transparency. I've asked a lot of questions, can't get any answers. But with me, you'll get those answers. You'll get them.